Okay, so we have created a presentation view, an assembled view, and all the parts that we need for our peg. So the last thing we have to do is to create our drawing. So opening up our drawing page here. Okay, so now as we've discovered before with Engineering Square, this is actually quite a large bit of paper. What we need to do is right click on sheet 1, and now we're actually going to make this sheet the right size. So first we're going to name it, and then we're going to choose the size. So if we go down here, we can go to A4 because that's the only size we can print. It's also like just a reasonable size, because size D, I'm not even sure how big that is. I think only proper engineering drawing people that do that for a job would know that. So now what we're going to do is set our base shape. So you can see it automatically goes to the last one that I had open, which was the presentation view, and we don't want that. We want to make sure that our is an assembled peg, and it says IAM at the end, because that's just going to be the normal assembly. Okay, so as you can see, it's all closed. We can change the size of it by going 1 to 1. That makes it bigger. And if I'm just going to have two different views here, because all I need is the top and the bottom, and then go OK. So there's our peg. It does look a lot like the other drawing we have, okay, but obviously they're a bit smaller. I didn't make them bigger. So now what we need to do as well, we can add in a different view, or we can do our annotations. So what I might do is add my annotation. So doing my dimensions, we want to know how wide the peg is. Okay, there we go. So what's the problem here? So as soon as you get a really small number, when you know what, because you've just drawn that, you know what that's supposed to be. Whoops. So if you actually want to delete a dimension, you've got to make sure you're off of the dimension tab. So going right clicking and then going OK, and then you can delete the dimension. But one thing I haven't checked, which I should, is always make sure we're in default standard ANSI millimeters. Okay, and that's going to make it so that all our dimensions are going to be the right size. So now let's try again, and there we go, it's the right size. Okay, so we can keep putting those in. We know this is going to be 5. So one problem with that is we don't want that overlapping with anything. Okay, you've got to make sure that all of your dimensions are actually by themselves, clearly able to be read. Okay, so I'm not going to actually go through and dimension all of that. That would take too long. You know what dimensions it needs. You need to make it so that if someone else is going to use this drawing, that they can just look at yours and do it. Okay, so it need every dimension so that they can actually draw it. But what we're going to do now is show you how to put in that other view. So if I go place views, we'll go base, and see again it starts up straight away with this view here. And if I can change that to a display option. Okay, so it's not in display options, we go to component. I've just remembered now the easiest way to do this is if I hold it over here, and then what we'll do is turn it around. Okay, and that's the view that we want. So I right click and go OK, and then I can actually left click once on that and delete it. And then we can move this into the right position, okay? So now if I double click on that, I can do all my alterations. So if I want it to be 1 to 1, there we go. Now as you can see though, with my other drawings with all the dimensions on it being 1 to 1, we can't have that be that big. So I can take that back down, make it smaller, just like that. I want this one, because it's my kind of display view, you could say, I can always just make it coloured. So as you can see there, look, it goes from like 1 to 2 to 1 to 1. But I think I might be able to go. No, I might just leave it like that. Okay, and I'll leave it there. So as you can see, that's like that, and all those. You can see on the one that I originally made, it's the other way around. Okay, so those are 1 to 2, and that's 1 to 1. Okay, but that's just a different way to do it. Okay, you can see that. So you can see that it would probably be more beneficial to have it this way, because with that all shaded in and stuff, you can see more of the details, whereas on this one you can't with the smaller one. And you can see these perfectly fine because it's just the outline with all the dimensions on it. It's fine to have that a little bit smaller. It actually gives you a little bit more room to put the dimensions in, so I'd probably prefer you to do it that way. It'd probably be smarter, but it's cool to be able to see how different things look on the program. I think that's important to have a bit of a play and have a look. So now what we're going to do is we go up to here, and we've got to add all our iProperties in. So you'll see down the bottom here in this table, there's nothing in there that's actually filled out. So what I'm going to do is you go to summary and put in titles. The title's going to be Giant Peg. Okay, subject is going to be digital design. Author is going to be Mr. Laxton, because it'll have your login name there. I have my own manager, but you guys would probably put my name in there, and the company is Ranella East College. Okay, so then we go project, part number 1, stock number 1, description, Giant Peg, revision number 1, project, Giant Peg. I'm trying to type a bit fast now, it's not keeping up. Designer is me, and so that'll be you. Engineer will be you as well. Oh, actually I'm incorrect. Designer is actually Mr. Cole, because he was the one that gave me the drawings for this, and I've used it. Authority is Miss Green, because she's given the authority for us to do this, I guess. At the school, cost centre is Ranella East College. Okay, estimated cost. So if we actually did 3D print this off, it would actually be only about $1 of plastic. And vendor is Ranella East College as well, because they are the vendor of this product if we did 3D print it. And you could put your web link in there. You could copy and paste in the school's web link, but we don't really need to. So you apply that, and you can see that adds all those things in there. And that's all we really need to add. So once you've done that, save it as a DWG file. So if I go up here and press save, see it wants to save as a DWG file. It's important you save that. Make sure you change the name and you change it to your first name, Peg. So I'd be like Mr. Laxton Peg. Okay, so that's what you'd have to do. And then make sure you upload all 3 of these files, 5 of these files. So you need the generic bit of the peg, you need the center bit of the peg, you need the assembly and the presentation view and the drawing. Okay, so that's 5 different files for the peg.